The caster and receiver are a way to create shadows within Vizrt. And to demonstrate this, we set up a scene here. We have three geometries. We have a rectangle acting as a wall. We have another rectangle acting as the floor. And then we have a third object, a cogwheel here, which is going to actually cast the shadows. Now for this to work, you actually need to use the caster and receiver together. So I'm going to take that receiver and drag it onto my wall. I'm also going to take the receiver and drag it onto my floor. And now I'm going to take the caster and drag it onto my cogwheel, since that's the object that I want to cast the shadow from. I'm casting to the wall and the floor, which receive the receiver, and I'm casting from the cogwheel, which gets the caster. All right, now that you can see we have it all set up, you can see our shadow here. So if I go into our caster properties editor, there isn't a whole lot that we can adjust here other than our light setting. And right now our light number 1 is set to active. So that's what's casting this shadow. Now if we go into our light and we move the light, you can see how it affects the shadow. And if we want to hit that back wall, we can by moving this light back a little bit. Or we could come in and move this wall forward until the caster starts to cast upon that wall. So you can see here, as we move it forward a little bit, the shadow is now hitting the floor and the wall. So if we go back into our caster setting, we also have an alpha setting. So we can increase the alpha to that or take it down. There's a color for the shadow, so you can change the color of the shadow. And again, we have our layers here. So the layer within the caster relates to the layer within the receiver. So if we were to turn that layer off in the receiver, you can see how it affects the scene here. It's no longer receiving that. So within the receiver, we also again have an alpha setting so that we can adjust our alpha setting on there. There's also a clipping and a culling and a show receiver. And if you just want to turn that off altogether, you could just use the show receiver. Now, if we jump back into our caster, you can use multiple lights, so we can turn on light 2 and 3, and then you just need to make sure that you come into your light settings here and make sure that they are on as well, and you'll get additional shadows here by adjusting those lights and positions of it. The shadows with this caster and receiver are always sharp edges. There's no way to feather them or smooth them out, so you need to do the shadow a different way if that's what you're looking for. But this is one way to create shadows within Vizrt.